Guyle Fielder is considered the greatest minor league hockey player of all time. However, there wasn't anything minor about his accomplishments. Fielder played 22 years of professional hockey, including parts of 4 seasons in the NHL with the Chicago Blackhawks, Detroit Red Wings, and Boston Bruins. He finished with minor league records for the most points, assists, and games played.
Well, as you know, at that time there was only 6 teams in the National Hockey League, and the American League, they had 10 or 12 teams, and the Western League had, off and on, we had 8 or 10 teams. And whatever players didn't make it in the American League, we were just a snowball away from being in the National League. It just depended who you belonged to and if you got a good chance to play. You were called up to play, but in Seattle mostly was tied up with Detroit at the time, so we just did the best we could and tried to get a chance to play in the NHL, which I did have, but it wasn't successful, so I ended up in Seattle for 16 years and played pro for 22 total.
Born in Idaho in 1930, Fielder's family moved to Nipawin, Saskatchewan, where he was introduced to the sport as a young boy. Then moved on to Prince Albert and Lethbridge for junior before beginning his lengthy professional career on a full-time basis with the New Westminster Royals of the Pacific Coast Hockey League. Starting in 1953, Fielder spent the first of his 15 seasons with the Seattle franchise in the then professional Western Hockey League.
And I went to Detroit's camp in 1957. I had a good tryout. We went all through training camp. I played on the line with Gordie Howe and Johnny Wilson. We got off to a terrible start. Our exhibition wasn't too bad of a series, but we got off to a bad start in the season. And I went in and talked to Jack Adams one day, and I said, I got to sitting on the bench after a while, 4, 5, 6 games, whatever it was. And I told Jack, I says, listen, Jack, I like to play hockey. I don't want to sit on the bench. He says, no, things will be fine. He says, I'll give you a $500 raise. Now I'm making $8,000. So we hung around another few days and nothing got any better. So I told him, Jack, I went in and saw him again and said, Jack, please, just get rid of me here because I like to play. I don't want to sit on the bench. So he obliged me, and I ended up going to Seattle, and I was there for another 14 or 15 years, whatever it was, after that.
During his time in Seattle, Guyle Fielder set franchise regular season records with goals, assists, points, and games played. His teams also won the Lester Patrick Cup, the WHL Championship, 3 times. Beyond that, Fielder also won the WHL scoring title 9 times, won the Most Valuable Player Award 6 times, won the Most Gentlemanly Player Award 3 times, was named First Team All-Star Center 9 times, set the professional hockey record at the time for points in a season with 122, and set the professional hockey record at the time for assists in a season with 95.
I was very lucky and very successful. I played with a lot of good teams and a lot of good players, and it's a team sport. You can't do it by yourself, but I did have some good wingers along the way and good teams, and we had played on, I believe it was 3 championship teams, and I think I only missed the playoffs 4 or 5 times in 22 years of pro, so I'm kind of proud of that.
At 5'9", 160 pounds, Fielder considered himself a playmaker rather than a goal scorer. Regardless of the description, he had no problem putting points on the board. On December 20th, 1972, Fielder became the first professional hockey player to record 2,037 points. Today, he is 4th on the list of all-time North American professional scoring leaders, behind only Wayne Gretzky, Gordie Howe, and Mark Messier, as well as the career minor league scoring leader.
I'm not really sure, but I just loved the game so much. When I was younger, I practiced my stick handling naturally and passing, both forehand and backhand. We didn't have the curved sticks back in those days, so it was much easier to make a backhand pass. But I played with a lot of wingers, and I wasn't a good goal scorer. Whenever I shot the puck, it was about glove high, and goalies could always catch them all the time. And I played with a lot of wingers that were good goal scorers. So fortunately, I got to thinking, well, if I make a good play and pass it to him and he misses the goal, he looks bad, but I look good because I made the play. But I did score a few goals myself. I think I ended up with 463 or something. But that's basically how it worked out. I just didn't shoot enough. Every coach I ever had told me to shoot more, but I didn't think I had a good enough shot.
Upon the 50th anniversary of the Hockey News in 1997, Fielder was chosen as one of the all-time greats in professional hockey. He was selected as the best player, best forward in Western Hockey League history, as well as the first team All-Star center. Fielder was inducted into the Seattle Hockey Hall of Fame in 1981, State of Washington Sports Hall of Fame in 2008, and the Saskatchewan Hockey Hall of Fame in 2015. He also had a street named after him in Nipawin in 2015. Installed in the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame on September 30th, 2017, Guyle Fielder.